So today I wanted to talk about anxiety. And I want to talk about what anxiety is and options and tools to deal with it. So I have ADHD and I've had a lot of uh, times in my life earlier. I'm about 30 now, where I've dealt a lot. I've had longer periods where I've been dealing with depression, anxiety. I've had multiple periods with serious burnout where I had to take a longer period of sick leave from job or from studies. And it's something that's always been coming back to me, and I've never really found the way to deal with it. Um, I'm in the forest right now. I haven't tried to record like this before, where I'm just like on the phone, kinda. I'm in a very nice, beautiful area. I'm on an island in Denmark called Ærø, on my summer holidays. And I just started reflecting a little bit about on this because I had a bit of anxiety this morning. So I'm here alone right now. I'm waiting for my friends to come later. I've been here since yesterday, and I've really been enjoying being here alone. But it also provoked some of the anxiety that I've dealt with earlier. I have a tendency to really think a lot about what other people think of me. And now I was sitting and eating breakfast, and it was like in a common area outside. It's really nice, really peaceful. And I made my breakfast, scrambled eggs and chorizo, and some other stuff. And I was just, sitting doing my own thing. And every time someone would walk past, my eyes immediately go like this, like, I'm constantly like, I don't know, my mind is just constantly like checking, like, oh, are they watching me? Are they thinking something about me? Like, am I doing something wrong? I always have this feeling of doing something wrong. That's something that really always have stayed with me so much, and it never really disappears. Maybe it will at some point. It definitely got better, but this feeling of always like feeling like I'm fucking up somehow, or I'm doing something I'm not supposed to be doing, or someone is thinking that I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing, has always been with me. And we could probably spend a lot of time going into some people came now. Wait a minute. All right, the people are gone. So I'm also just not used to recording stuff in. I mean, this is not really in public, but there are some. It's a public path, and people will appear. Yeah, never mind. All right, I got thrown off course. Where was I? Oh yeah, so anxiety, right? And people and all of that, which I said before, it's kind of like always been with me. And to my point, I've always had a bit of a difficult time finding a way to deal with it. And like recently, in the past couple of years, I started practicing and like consciously training principles from what's called metacognitive therapy, which is a new branch of the cognitive psychology. And it differs a bit because with metacognitive psychology, the point is to do less about your problems. So instead of trying to implement a bunch of tools, and like there's many things that you can do that will give you how do you say, like a shorter relief, right, from the anxiety, like breathing, or I mean, also going outside is of course nice. Meditation, mindfulness, specific kind of exercises, like all of these things that you can do will give you this temporary relief, but it doesn't really fix the problems, right? The problem seems to come back. The thoughts come back, the anxiety comes back, and then you can just keep going and add more tools, and it will go on like that in a spiral, right? And the tools in of themselves can be kind of anxiety provoking or stress provoking by themselves, because then you have to go around and like constantly like, oh, am I like, is my heart beating too fast? Do Do I need to breathe more? Do I need to, like, you're having all of this focus on yourself, on your thoughts, on your feelings, on your like bodily sensations and symptoms all the time. And in MCT, in metacognitive therapy, and also what I've experienced, like learning about it and using it for myself, is that it makes the problem worse. All of this focus inside makes the problem worse, because you're so focused on how you're feeling that you will start to feel more of it. It's, you know, a bit like if I told you, or asked you, like, have you thought about, that you're blinking today? Or have you thought about that you're breathing today? Or have you thought about how your big toe feels today? Like, you will start to notice these things, right? Now you're probably really weirded out and self-conscious about blinking. You're welcome. It's the same. I don't know if you're sitting down right now, but have you noticed that your butt is like touching the surface of where you're sitting? Try and notice that for a second. Like, you can zoom in on that sensation, right? And now it's more apparent to you. Now it's clearer. Also, have you noticed your clothes touching your skin? If you try and like spend a second and zoom in on that, can you feel the clothes touching your skin? I bet you can if you focus on it. And I bet that you weren't able to feel that before, right? And this shows something about our brain. This shows that whatever we focus on is whatever we give attention is what our brain will focus on. That is what our brain will highlight for us in our consciousness. And whatever we don't think about, that is what our brain will shut out. And your brain does this because there are thousands of impressions and sensations and sensoric input coming into your brain all the time, but your brain does not have the ability to deal with all of it. So it's like, what's important, I'm going to like highlight. What's not important, I am going to turn down. It has like a volume knob, it can turn up and down. So the more that you focus either on the symptoms, your thoughts, your feelings, or the more you focus on trying to get it away, the more space it's gonna take up in your consciousness, because that's how your mind works. It's a bit like Google Ads. Like, if your brain works like Google Ads. So it's like an algorithm. If you start searching for something, let's say you're looking for, I don't know, a t-shirt. If you start Googling that kind of t-shirt with a specific brand and a specific blah, 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 what is Google gonna show you all the time? It's gonna show you pictures of t-shirts, right? So you're feeding the algorithm by focusing on that thing. And now that's how your brain works as well. The more you focus on something, the more it's gonna be like, oh, that's gonna keep popping up. So maybe you're trying to prepare for something mentally, or something's giving you anxiety. For example, I can take the example from myself with the people going around me, and I'm like, oh, are they thinking about me? Are they looking at me? Am I doing something wrong? And like, I become very self-conscious. And now it feels like there's two options, right? Either you can try and like solve the problem by analyzing it, and I can start talking to myself in my head and be like, no, they're probably not looking at me. That would be silly. I'm not doing anything. I'm just eating breakfast here. I'm just chilling. Like, why would that be a problem? Like, then I can start arguing and convincing myself that it's not a problem. So essentially, I'm trying to solve the problem through analyzing, a rationalization, or whatever it might be. And this you can do this with everything. Every problem is like that, and I bet that you know that from yourself. That can be in, maybe you're going to an examination, maybe you're going for a job interview, maybe you're contemplating something you did in the past that like your brain wants to keep reminding you of at 3 a.m. for some reason, right? And immediately that's like a trigger. And these are triggers. We call this trigger thoughts or trigger events. And this is stuff that triggers your brain into like bombarding you with stuff. It's like the Google algorithm. And the more you feed that, the more you press the button, the more you like go into it, the more your brain will be like, oh, this is important. He's focusing so much on it. I'm going to keep like this is going to reappear now a bunch of times over and over. Like the more you focus on it, the more it's going to appear, right? It's a bit like a plant. We call it what you nurture will grow, or what you water grows. So the more you water it with your attention, the more you nurture it, the more it will grow, the more it will take up space in you. So that's like one way of kind of trying to deal with it when these uncomfortable thoughts and like the anxiety appears, all the symptoms like heavy breathing or uh, heart beating, sweating, uncomfortable feeling in the body. Uh, and like, as I said, one way to deal with it is trying to like solve the problem of it, make the thoughts go away, make the feelings go away. The other way is try to not problem solve it per se, like by like solving the problem in your mind, but to make the symptoms go away, or distracting yourself by, for example, breathing or calming yourself down or listening to calming music, or could also be to go for a walk in the forest. And there's nothing wrong with these things. We just have to remember that if we're exclusively doing this to make the symptoms go away, we are, by definition, indirectly still focusing on the problem. Like, it's like trying to close, like you're trying to close the door, right? You want to close the door to the problem. You want to shut the door. But just as you cannot go to a door to shut the door without looking at the door and touching the door and interacting with the door. It's the same with your problems of the anxiety and your thoughts and all of these things. The more you try to push it away, the more you're actually interacting with it. And the more indirectly you are focusing on it. And then we're still back to the same issue as before of feeding the algorithm. More people appeared. Awkward talking in public, which is why I'm in a forest. Back to the topic. So there's like two things that people usually do to make anxiety, stress, uncomfortable feelings go away. They try to problem solve by analyzing, rationalizing, and like thinking the problem away, trying to like, oh, if I solve the problem of do people look at me, and like I come to the conclusion that, oh no, they probably don't, because that's would be unlikely, then the problem will go away. But you are... More people appeared. We're back. Two ways to deal with the problem. Focus on it, and like you're trying to problem solve it, right? In your mind. And the other way is trying to push it away. And it's kind of like two opposites of the same spectrum. Like if you have a spectrum, like you have a middle point, and then you have like over here is like trying to problem solve it and fix it. Over here is like trying to make the problem go away. So both of them has the how you say, the backside, or like the drawback. There it is, the drawback that it feeds the problem. It feeds like your brain's algorithm of maintaining this thought pattern, because your brain, remember, your brain is like a flashlight in the dark. Whatever you focus on is what your brain is gonna highlight. Whatever you focus on, give your attention. The attention is the keyword here. Whatever you give your attention is what it's gonna illuminate, and that is what your brain is gonna see, and that is on a neurological level gonna draw pathways in your brain that's going to make these thought patterns and feelings more and more and more likely to happen, because it's the same network, neural networks that are being activated. And these neural networks in your brain, it doesn't care if you're trying to like push it away, or if you're trying to problem solve it by like thinking about it, or dealing with the problem, right? Your brain only knows what you're giving attention, and what you're giving attention is what you will become good at. And if you are spending a lot of time focusing on your anxiety, you will be very good at feeling your anxiety. Your brain will be very finely tuned to observing and feeling and generating all the patterns of the anxiety, which is the thoughts, the feelings, and the bodily sensations. And you will practice basically like feeling the anxiety, and it will become more and more apparent for you, and more clear. It will be, it will take up more space, right? You will feel it more. So, going back to this kind of spectrum, right? We have here is problem solving, like overthinking, overanalyzing. On the other side, we have like pushing away, trying to avoid the problem. And like I want to show to you and illustrate why that doesn't work. All right, so you can't make negative thoughts go away by telling them to go away. And I want to illustrate this to you through an example. So now I'm going to give you a task, and that task is you cannot for the next 10 seconds, whatever you do, you cannot think of a pink elephant. Go. Do not think of a pink elephant. Whatever you do, do not think of a pink elephant. Try to make it go away. Go away, pink elephant. Don't think about the pink elephant. Don't think about that. Kind of doesn't work, right? This is the same thing with your thoughts. If you have uncomfortable thoughts that are giving you anxiety, the more you try and push them away, the more it's gonna take up space in your mind. The more your brain is just gonna be like, oh, he's focusing on it. It's important. Oh, we're gonna keep like showing that then. Your brain doesn't care if it's positive or negative. Your brain doesn't know that. It just knows that you're giving it attention. The other option like is to try and distract yourself from it. And this is a bit like pushing, like if you imagine you have like a big like rubber ball and you're on the beach and you're trying to push that rubber ball down under, it's like a beach ball, right? You're trying to push that down under the surface of the water. What happens when you push it down? Well, it stays down. What happens when you let go? Does it stay down or does it like flop right back up in your head again? It flops right back up in your head again. The more making things try to go away by distracting yourself from it, like with breathing, mindfulness, meditation, like going for long ass walks or eating or listening to music or podcasts. All of these things are fine. There's nothing wrong with them inherently, but if you're using them just to make things go away, to distract yourself, then it's gonna have the drawback of it's only gonna work while you do it because you're pushing like the ball down. But once you're spending a lot of energy on it, but once you let go, it flops right back up in your head. It only works while you're doing it, and when you stop doing it, what happens to your thoughts and your feelings and the anxiety? Does it stay away or does it come back? It probably comes back, which is why you are still dealing with the anxiety. So these are the two opposites of the spectrum. Now let's try and get into a different approach, which is like right in the middle. So we're not trying to problem solve it. We're not trying to make the problem go away by distracting ourselves. Let's try and do something else right in the middle. And that thing is doing nothing. Doing nothing. And doing nothing is actually doing something. But there's a specific way that you want to try and do nothing. And there's some important realizations you need to accept first before you try and do that nothing. So, first of all, you need to know that uncomfortable thoughts, the feelings of anxiety, the heart beating, like all of these bodily sensations and like racing thoughts, weird ass thoughts that come and go, all of these things are normal. All of these things are completely normal and they're not dangerous to you. Thoughts are just thoughts, no matter what kind of thoughts. Thoughts are just thoughts and they cannot harm you. They can make you upset. They can activate your stress response, which is what is actually making you feel the anxiety, because that's your body reacting to your brain and then creating a stress response, which is like the fight and flight response, which is trying to make you deal with the problem. But it's not dangerous. It's uncomfortable. It's not very nice, of course, but it's not dangerous. And it's normal. The other realization is that the more you try and do stuff about it, the more you try and fix it all the time, the more you try and analyze it, go through it in your head, the more you try and make it go away, the more it's gonna keep coming back, because you are maintaining a high level of stress in your body by doing this. You're basically telling your body to constantly react and be prepared, because you're constantly trying to either push something away or trying to problem solve it. And this is your brain reacting to this and trying to help you. The anxiety is actually your brain trying to help you. It's just doing it so much all the time because it believes there's a problem all the time, because you're focusing on it all the time, either by trying to problem solve it, by thinking about solutions, or you're trying to, like, you're indirectly focusing on it by trying to push it away, and your brain interprets that as, oh, he's trying to fix the problem or like make it go away, so I need to expend energy in order to help him do that, which then activates the stress response, which then gives you all the feelings of anxiety. So you see how that's kind of a loop going on. So we need to do something else. first thing, accept that these things are normal and not dangerous. Second thing, learn, the more you struggle, the more you will be stuck. It's like quicksand. The more you move, the more you are going to sink, like the faster you're going to sink. All right. So the next thing is then, what do we do about it? First of all, how do you leave thoughts alone, right? How do you not do anything with them? First, you need to accept that the thoughts and the physical sensations, they are there. And your brain produces more than 70,000 thoughts per day. So the thoughts in of themselves is not the problem. You cannot control which thoughts your brain creates. But what you can control is your attention. You can create what you can decide. You can decide what you choose to focus on. So we want to practice something which is called detached mindfulness, and it's a bit different than normal mindfulness. In mindfulness, it's often described as letting things pass. You want to redirect your attention from the thoughts and the feelings and the bodily sensations, and then wait for it to pass. In detached mindfulness, you want to detach yourself completely from the letting it go kind of thing. You're not trying to let anything go. You're just trying to let it be. So the purpose, and this is the really important thing that differentiates this from other methods or strategies, is that we're not trying to make the anxiety go away. We're not trying to make the bad thoughts go away. We are accepting that they are there, and we are leaving them be. And then we are continuing our day with whatever we are doing. And the thing that we are continuing doing is not done with the purpose of trying to make the uncomfortable stuff go away. You have to practice to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. You have to be able to find some kind of calmness in uncalm situations. So that means that even though you are feeling all of these uncomfortable emotions and all the thoughts are spinning in your head, you have to remind yourself that this is normal. This is my body trying to help me cope. And the reason why my brain and my body is freaking out so much is maybe because I've been feeding that machine for so long. Maybe it's because I've been nurturing that plant for so long. It's also a bit like stoking the fire. What happens to a fire that you keep putting firewood onto? Does it go out, or does it keep burning? It keeps burning. So how do you make a fire die? How do you make a tomato plant die? You stop watering the tomato plant, and you stop putting wood on the fire. And how do you stop putting wood on the fire? How do you stop watering the tomato plant? You stop doing anything. You stop interacting with it. You don't have to try and put it out. You don't have to walk away from it. You just sit there and observe it until it dies. This is what it's all about, doing less. Wherever you are right now, whatever the feelings you're feeling they are, trust yourself that you are able to manage it and that you are able to stay with those emotions. And maybe you're not able to stay with them for so long right now, for that an extended period of time, but start practicing instead of immediately distracting yourself and trying to make the thoughts and feelings go away, or immediately jumping on the thought train and trying to problem solve it by rationalizing it. Tell yourself, thoughts and feelings are normal, no matter the context. Thoughts and feelings are not dangerous. I can manage to feel this way, even though it's uncomfortable. And I will practice to be uncomfortable. I will practice to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And then do something. Do something. But do it not with the purpose of making the anxiety and feelings and thoughts go away, but do it with the purpose and intention of doing something that you want to do. And do it with the anxiety. Do it with the negative thoughts. Sometimes and often we feel that it's first possible for me to do the things I want to do once I feel ready, once the anxiety is gone, once the negative feelings are gone, once the negative thoughts are gone. Let's try and flip that around. Try to tell yourself, I will do it before I am ready. So maybe it's something simple. Maybe you need to do the dishes. Maybe you need to brush your teeth. Maybe you need to take a shower. Maybe you just want to sit and watch Netflix. Instead of waiting to be ready to do that, and being ready in this case means that the anxiety is gone, try and do it with the anxiety. Tell yourself, I'm not going to push it away. I'm going to brush my teeth with anxiety. I'm going to take a shower with the anxiety. I'm going to relax and watch Netflix with the anxiety. Yes, it might not be as comfortable as you want it to be, but this is part of the process. This is the stopping. This is the stopping trying to make the thoughts go away, and also stopping trying to problem solve. And remember that trying to make the problem go away and trying to problem solve, over analyzing and so on, is the cause of your anxiety, is the cause of the feelings and negative emotions and like all of these bodily sensations that you're feeling. It's the doing something all the time. You need to try and stop doing something all the time. You need to stop trying to make it go away by distracting yourself all the time, and you need to stop over-analyzing and being in your head. Do something in the real world, but do it not with the intention of making the bad feelings go away. Because remember, this is indirectly still redirecting your attention to the problem. We want to redirect your attention away from the problem. But that doesn't mean that the problem will go away. The thoughts and feelings are going to stay there. And what you will do is wait for the fire to burn out, meanwhile, while you're doing the things that you need to do. Go on about your day, do the things that you need to do the things that you want to do, and tell yourself, I will do this with the anxiety. I will go for a walk with the anxiety. I will go for to the cinema with my friend with the anxiety. And over time, you will discover that the more you practice this, doing things while feeling uncomfortable, practicing being comfortable with being uncomfortable instead of trying to make the uncomfortability go away all the time, you will discover that the uncomfortable feelings will naturally start to dissipate. And over time, it will not take up as much space in your life because you are not giving it the attention. The fire will start to burn out. The plant will start to die because you're not nurturing it. And I can take the example from myself in the morning. I was having all of these thoughts and feelings like, are all of these people watching me? And these are the trigger thoughts that come and starts the whole cascade. And I started to feel the anxiety coming. Instead of trying to solve the problem by analyzing it and rationalizing it and debating it in my head, and instead of trying to maybe move away from the anxiety, I could have switched position. I could have gone somewhere where there were no people. I could have gone in my tent. But that would have deprived me of the opportunity to train, being comfortable with being uncomfortable. That would have deprived me of the option to actually just stay with the moment and eat my breakfast with the anxiety. Was it a comfortable breakfast? No, not particularly, because I was thinking about this and it was taking up the space in my mind. But as I sat there, I probably ate breakfast for 45 minutes. It started getting better and better and better. And I just focused on doing my own thing and I was enjoying my breakfast. And this is how you can try a new path maybe of dealing with your anxiety. Allowing it to be there, first of all. Accept that anxiety is not dangerous. It's a natural feeling. It's your body's way and your brain's way of trying to protect you from something that it thinks is dangerous. You need to teach your brain that it's not dangerous. And the way to do that is slowly being in uncomfortable moments and practicing being comfortable with it. Practicing being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Slowly exposing yourself to it and telling yourself, I will do it even though the anxiety is there. I will do it even though the negative thoughts are there. And trust that your body has the ability to self-regulate. And over time, it will get better. I promise you that. Alright, so this is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me hear your thoughts and feelings about this topic. Let me hear what you've tried. Let me hear how you have succeeded dealing with your anxiety. Let me hear how maybe you've not succeeded with it and what you feel is standing in the way of you overcoming your anxiety. Anxiety is a really, really serious problem. It can be very traumatic. It can lead to great disability in one's life, and it should be taken seriously. But there are different ways to deal with it, and this is one method. Let me hear your thoughts about it. All right, thank you so much. And lastly, also, I'm trying to grow this channel. I'm completely new to this, but I want to try and help people with all the things that I've learned personally. I didn't say it in the beginning. I'm a physical therapist working with chronic pain patients, people who have pain that never goes away. I'm teaching them how to live a good life with pain, with things that never go away. The same principles apply also to topics of anxiety. So I want to share this also. Subscribe to the channel. That will also help greatly. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye bye now.